Try counting the Chinese EV brands and you'll lose track fast. Even people in China can't keep up, and the same car wears different names around the world. Some are already on American roads without you noticing. Let's make sense of it. In 2025, electric and hybrid cars outsold gasoline ones in China for the very first time, and homegrown brands now control roughly 2/3 of that market. But nearly every name you'll ever hear traces back to just half a dozen giant parent companies. And in the United States, there's a second twist. A 100% tariff introduced in 2024 keeps Chinese-built EVs out, and a newer connected vehicle rule bans any carmaker owned or controlled by China from selling internet-linked cars here, no matter where the vehicle is actually assembled. So the real question isn't which Chinese EVs are coming. It's who already owns the ones parked down your street. Start with Geely, China's second-largest car maker, a company that began back in 1986 making refrigerator parts. In 2010, it bought Volvo from Ford for about $1.8 billion, and that single deal rewrote everything. Today, Geely controls Volvo, Polestar, and the storied British sports car maker Lotus, plus a whole stack of names sold mostly in China and Europe. Zeekr, its premium electric brand. Lynk & Co., which Zeekr now half owns. The pickup brand Radar, and half of Smart, the tiny car marque Mercedes started. It even holds a 17% slice of Aston Martin. Across all those badges, the group built more than 4 million vehicles last year. If you've ever admired a Volvo EX90 or a Polestar in a parking lot, and this is where the American rules turn strange. In 2026, the Commerce Department cleared Volvo to keep selling here, then weeks later blocked Polestar. Same parent company, opposite answers. The Polestar 3 is even assembled in South Carolina, and it still got shut out, because the rule judges who owns the company, not where the factory sits. One badge stays, one badge goes, and ownership alone decides. Geely has openly said it wants to bring Zeekr and Lynk & Co. to America within the next few years. So this map is about to get more crowded, not less. Next is BYD, and it barely started as a car company at all. It was founded in 1995 in Shenzhen as a battery maker. Warren Buffett famously bought in back in 2008, and it didn't build its first car until 2003. That battery heritage is its superpower. BYD makes its own cells, motors, and even chips in-house, which lets it undercut almost anyone on price. In 2022, it stopped making pure gasoline engines entirely. By 2025, it sold about 4.6 million vehicles, cracked the top 5 automakers on Earth, and passed Ford, Honda, and Nissan, while shipping more than 1 million cars overseas for the first time across roughly 120 countries. Its badges tell the whole story. The mainstream Dynasty and Ocean cars built on its own Blade battery, the luxury Denza brand that Mercedes co-founded and then completely walked away from, the boxy off-road Fangcheng Bao, and the ultra-premium Yangwang. That flagship Yangwang U9 briefly became the fastest production car in the world at 496 kilometers an hour, and its big U8 SUV can float on water for about half an hour and spin in place with a tank turn. And in the United States, you can't buy a single one of them. The biggest EV maker on the planet is locked out almost entirely by that tariff wall, so it's pouring billions into new plants in Hungary, Brazil, Thailand, and Mexico instead. Brand number 3 is one most Americans have never heard of, and that's exactly the point. Chery, founded in 1997 in the city of Wuhu, has quietly been China's #1 vehicle exporter for 23 years running, and in 2025, it became the first Chinese carmaker to export 5 million cars in total. It's grown so fast it raised over $1 billion in a Hong Kong stock listing that valued it near $23 billion. Here's the trick that confuses everyone. 2 of its most visible brands, Omoda and JAC, don't even exist inside China. They're export-only badges, the same cars sold at home under completely different names. Even those names are invented. Omoda blends oxygen and the Italian word for fashion, while JAC mashes the German word for hunter together with the English word cool. Underneath them sit still more brands: the premium Exceed, the off-road Jetour, the youth-focused iCar, and Luxeed, built in partnership with the phone giant Huawei. Chery even builds Jaguars and Land Rovers in China through a long-running joint venture. One company, nearly a dozen masks. Then there's SAIC, the oldest of China's state-owned giants, founded all the way back in 1955, and the first Chinese automaker ever to build 100 million vehicles. In 2025, it moved about 4.5 million cars, more than 1.5 million of them electric or hybrid. You probably already know its most famous badge without knowing who owns it. MG. Yes, that MG. The old British sports car mark your grandfather might have driven. It has been Chinese-owned since 2007, and today it's one of the best-selling Chinese brands across Europe and Australia. SAIC also sells vans and rugged SUVs under Maxus, and a slick premium electric line called IM. It's the cleanest example of the whole theme, a heritage badge with a completely different owner behind it. Two more state-owned heavyweights round out the majors. Changan sells its electric cars under Deepal and the high-tech Avatar, a brand it built alongside Huawei and the battery king CATL, and it even runs a joint venture with Ford. GAC pushes its EVs through ION and the sportier HipTech, with ION alone selling tens of thousands of cars in a single month at home. Neither name means much in America yet, but both companies are enormous, and they aren't even the whole list. Dongfeng, BAC, and FAW are three more state giants sitting right behind them, each with their own tangle of electric sub-brands. Beneath the famous names sits an entire second layer of state-backed manufacturers most Western buyers have simply never had the chance to see. And here's the thing that ties it all together: price. The cheapest of these electric cars sell for around $10,000 in China, a figure no American market EV comes anywhere close to. That's the real reason for the tariff wall. It isn't only about data or national security, it's the fear of what happens to Detroit if cars this cheap and this good ever land on a dealer lot near you. Finally, the newcomers, the ones that actually began life as EV companies, with no gasoline past to walk away from. NIO is famous for battery swap stations that trade an empty pack for a full one in about 5 minutes, and it delivered roughly 326,000 cars last year. XPeng leans hard on self-driving technology, and Volkswagen thought enough of it to spend $700 million on a stake. It handed over about 429,000 vehicles. Li Auto pioneered the range extender approach, a small gas engine that does nothing but charge the battery, never turning the wheels, and it delivered more than 400,000 cars of its own last year. Then there's Leapmotor, which proves the point one final time. It was founded in 2015 as a scrappy startup, but Jeep and Ram's parent company Stellantis took a roughly 20% stake and now controls how Leapmotor is exported and sold everywhere outside China. It turned its first full-year profit in 2025 and is chasing 1 million sales this year. And yes, Xiaomi, the company that makes your phone, builds cars now too. Its SU7 sedan and YU7 SUV helped it sell around 400,000 vehicles in its very first full year. So even the so-called independents increasingly have Western money or foreign partners stitched somewhere inside them. There are more than 60 active Chinese EV brands today, but almost every one folds back into that same short list of owners. And American shoppers feel the ripple, because names like Buick and Lincoln are now waiting on the very same rule that just sank Polestar. Once you know who owns what, the confusing map finally snaps into focus. 6 or 7 parent groups, 100 badges, and one simple rule. The logo on the hood is the last thing that tells you where a car really comes from. Forget the badge and follow the ownership. Subscribe for more.